Hey everybody, Tekking here. You know, you have to sit back and look at the bigger picture of what you're reading sometimes, okay? I mean, you have the bad guys, you have the good guys, they're fighting each other, that's well and good. But then you have to sit back and you have to think that the main villain of this entire arc is taking a nap right now. And even if, like, Yhwach were to win and take over the world, he's still going to have to take a nappy nap every night to make sure his powers don't go away. Like, for right now, what is Yhwach Bach dreaming about? So, I've had a few ideas for skits, but I think what would be funnier is if you guys commented below, have a little bit of interaction. So, when Yhwach has to take his little siesta every night, what does he dream about? I'm sure I will get a lot of funny, maybe some serious ones, but probably really funny comments below, so please post that. Alright, so yeah, I've been sick past couple days, so my voice is still not 100%. Probably cough a little bit through this review, but let's get to it, shall we? We shall. Hey everybody, Tekking101 here to review Bleach chapter number 661, titled My Last Word. You know, I have a pretty good idea what my last words are going to be. It's probably going to be along the lines of, "Oh God, please don't do it! I take it all back, Kubo!" before I'm murdered by an unidentified individual situation. But anyway, chapter begins with Haschwalth stepping out from the shadows, and even more than just the shadows, though, we have the squirmy shadows on the ground kind of coming out of the darkness with him. Now, remember, when Yhwach absorbed the Soul King, he began to ooze that, like, black, viscous liquid substance. I don't even know if calling it shadows would even be apt, but that's certainly part of Yhwach's power now, and he's went to sleep pretty much immediately after doing that, so we don't really know the full, the full abilities of that power. And also, when he absorbed the Mime Hage, he got something similar to that. So I guess when Haschwalth takes up the power of the Almighty, he might also absorb the power that Yhwach got from the Soul King, possibly. Because I don't like to think that those shadows just kind of squirming on the ground are just like trivial things. They're probably going to be something very relevant, as well as the fact of Haschwalth's face being half concealed by the shadow. So anyway, Uryu realizes, like, oh shit, Haschwalth found out about everything, even though it shouldn't have surprised you at all that Haschwalth found out about everything. Get the hell out of here, Kurosaki! I'll hold him off. Ishida, I'll come back for you, man, I love you! Don't worry, Kurosaki, I'll be fine. I'll kick this guy's ass and I'll be back for morning tea. Okay, can you guys quit with the action movie cliches? I already destroyed the Gate of the Sun, so you guys are fucked! Yeah, so Haschwalth, having the ability to see the future, did the logical thing and did something to obscure the future. Although I had to question whether or not Haschwalth saw Ichigo and the others escaping using the Sun Gates, using his almighty power, and then decided to destroy the Sun Gates, or he saw into the future Ichigo and the others attempting to escape using the Sun Gates, and Haschwalth himself destroying the Sun Gates. Just a little bit of problems you have to encounter when you have the ability, when you have any character that can see the future. Is the future that they are seeing taking into account your ability to see the future and therefore your ability to interfere with events, or is your ability to see the future just seeing what will transpire if you did not have the ability to see the future? Yeah, this is why time travel characters and future sight characters are always really fucking confusing in manga. Depends how you use them. In fiction in general, really. Anyway, wibbly wobbly timey wimey, I guess. Anyway, yeah, so the Sun Gates are destroyed, essentially destroying my theory of, hey, maybe they're gonna use the Sun Gate entrance to the Warvelt in order to get Isshin and Ryukin in on the action. Yeah, of course fucking not, right? I just want to know one thing, though. I want to know what Isshin and Ryukin are doing right now in the world of the living. Alright, did Isshin just, like, after he gave that pep talk to Ichigo, did he just, like, he's like, well, my job's done for the day, I'm a good parent. Goes back into his gi guy, lays on the fucking sofa, and turns on Monday Night Raw. I mean, and what about Ryukin? I'm sure there's not a single thing Ryukin can be doing right now as interesting as it could be if he was in the middle of this fight at the moment.
Nurse, what's the status of the patient? We have multiple gunshot wounds, doctor. He's bleeding out. You need to operate immediately. All right, fetch me my gear. It's time to save a life.
Okay, damn, I take it back. I would totally watch that show. Anyway, Hashwolf begins to walk slowly toward Ichigo and Uryu, of course. Maybe because he got the personality change, he became a little bit more sadistic, like he wants to play with his prey a little bit, you know, because I find it hard to believe that, like, Hashwolf, the way he was, like, when he fought Basby, would have been just like, ah, yes, I will slowly torment my prey. Do you guys remember what happened at the beginning of this fucking invasion? Remember that dude in the 13th Division, the guy with the glasses that kind of looked like the guy from the filler arc? The Amagai arc in the anime. You know what he did to him? He walked up to him and he slit him in fucking half, vertically. It's like fucking head to crotch, just in half. And now we have them all playing the evil Bond villain, like, I'm gonna slowly walk towards you and pull out the blade and watch it reflect your gasped expression as I slice your head off slowly. You know, just enough so that you can watch your body bleed out as you perish. You know, it doesn't seem with Hashwolf's character. I think he would have just jumped into the battle and taken out the threat to His Majesty. Anyway, though, yeah, he states that he's going to finish them off before His Majesty awakens. Ah, damn it, Uryu. Well, it looks like we got no choice to fight him. Alright, I'll take him from the front before His Majesty awakens, before His Majesty awakens, before His Majesty awakens. Wait a second, that means Yhwach doesn't have any of his powers right now! I totally didn't know that, despite the fact that I knew that! Okay, so Uryu comes up with another master plan that, wait a second, since Hashwolf has Yhwach's powers, that means right now, Yhwach doesn't have the powers of omnipotence or omniscience. So therefore, if we kill Yhwach the way he is right now, then everything will be fine.
Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna stop it right there. Hey everybody, future Tekking. I'm actually editing this right now. And I just wanted to say that this sound you're about to hear me make, I originally was going for sort of like a sigh or like an annoyed grunt at the stupidity of Uryu, but it comes out sounding like I basically just jizzed my pants, which I can assure you did not happen. It does happen occasionally in videos, just not in this video. But yeah, I just wanted to mentally prepare you for that noise you're going to hear me make, okay, in case you want to make a meme out of it. Okay, with that being said, let's resume.
Okay. I'm sick. Alright, I am honestly forcing myself right now to do this. Alright, my voice is not 100%. You know, I'm coughing in between takes all the time. But I'm sorry, Uryu. I gotta do this, even if it's worth straining my voice for like another 3 days. You're just realizing this now, you dumb fuck! Really? Oh my fucking Christ! You get inducted into the fucking Vandenreich. You know, Yhwach does this big ceremony like, you are my successor, and now I'm going to, you know, share my power with you. And then you have the moment where Hashwolf literally explains to Uryu, point blank in chapter 565, I take His Majesty's powers at night, and he goes back to being the father of the Quincy's. You're just using your genius level intellect right now to realize, wait a second, he might be vulnerable when he's asleep. Facepalm, 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 facepalm. You know what? Just go. Just continue. I don't have anything else to say for that. It should be fucking blatantly obvious that Kubo doesn't give a fuck about Uryu's character at this point. You know? Just all that intelligence he exhibited, all that abilities to, you know, see the consequences of events in order to come up with plans and backup plans and all that shit. Just thrown out the fucking window. Who gives a shit, right? Ichigo, Yhwach is currently at the highest point of the Varveld. Head upwards, Kurosaki. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean downwards. I'm sorry, I'm not really thinking that straight this week. It's up. But Ishida, are you really intent on staying here and fighting him? Quit your babbling, just hurry up and go. Relax, I have no intentions of having such mundane words be my last. So Ichigo gives him the smile of approvability, which of course means shit's about to go down! But no, seriously, I mean, that one panel's pretty cool, where it sees Uryu, you know, saying to Ichigo, it's cool, I got this, I'm not gonna die, and Ichigo gives him the smile, like, he's my friend again, and everything's good, and that's awesome. Are you gonna go hang out next week? Are you gonna go see a movie together? You guys friends again? That's fucking amazing, you know? Straight line, just a straight line. Oh, jeez, I dropped my mouse. I'm so pissed right now. I'm dizzy. Facepalm too much. Okay. Anyway, Ichigo and Chad and Orihime, they all head, I guess, upwards to find Yhwach. Meanwhile, Uryu confronts Haschwalth. He asks him why he doesn't plan on going after them, and Haschwalth simply states, oh god, you know, you know what, dude? I think Haschwalth's just as pissed as I am. I think he's about having the facepalm fest too. He's just like, do I have to keep saying this? I can see the future. They will perish. There's no need for pursuit. So Uryu takes out his bow, which, by the way, is confirmed to be a different bow, although it is interesting to note that he doesn't use any of his, like, normally he has one of the crosses or the pentacle on his wrist in order to summon his bow, and here it doesn't seem like he has any of that, but he's able to summon it anyway. Maybe it's like the cross on his, like, you know, his cloak or something, I'm not sure. Anyway, he summons his bow, and he states, that which we call fate can be changed, can it not? Oh, no. Okay. Do you not see how cliche this is? Let me run this scenario by you. Let me tell you exactly what is happening here, and I want you to understand how fucking cliche this is. All right, if you're any fan of fiction, if you have read any book, if you have watched any movie of fiction at all, let me like repeat word verbatim what's going on right here. Okay, you have the villain, okay, who's all like, I'm the villain, I can't be defeated because I can see the future, or I know what's gonna happen already. And then you have the hero, and then he's like, yeah, but fate can be changed, I'm gonna alter fate. And then the bad guy, of course, is like, no, you can't. And then in the climax of the movie, he alters fate. Alright, it's the same fucking cookie cutter shit. I could recreate it right now. In fact, screw it, I'm gonna go do it. Tekking101 Theater, take it away. You pitiful hero! You alone could not hope to defeat me, the glorious Lord Dreadthorn! I'm evil! I will still defeat you! Even though you're incredibly powerful. All those times you were able to kill everybody without even getting a scratch on you. That one time you blew up that entire island by just clapping your hands. Despite all of that, regardless of what bullshit power you've been given by the author, me, an insignificant little worm that is obviously several times weaker than you, will defeat you! Because I have something even greater. Oh, and what would that be? I have the F words. What? You mean fuck? No! Friendship! Friendship and fate! The fuck is that gonna do with the friendship and fate? Ah, crackers! No! It's impossible! The one interesting thing here is that, Uryu brings up that Haschwalth kind of expressed shock on his face the way he saw him just now, because Haschwalth stated, you seem like a different person than the person I saw earlier, Uryu, and Uryu's just like, oh, you see surprise on your face, so maybe that power of omnipotence and omniscience, you haven't quite grasped it yet. You don't have as much a control over it as you think you do. Okay, so that's something. You know, at least thinking out of the box a little bit here. You know, maybe that Yhwach, who's had this power for thousands of years, can have a better grasp on it than Haschwalth, who's only had it for maybe a few hundred, and certainly not on the level now because of, you know, of all the Soul King absorption and everything. But yeah, so it's time to fight, I guess. You know, go for it, guys. Versus match. Okay, so we get the title page of the chapter as we see Orihime, Chad, and Ichigo running up the steps of the Varvelt. They're heading to the peak, of course, where we see Orihime begin to cry a little bit. She gets a little bit teary-eyed, and Ichigo asks her, what is wrong? Oh, no, I'm fine. I'm just happy that Uryu and you guys are friends again. I was so worried there. Yeah, it's almost like his betrayal didn't mean anything whatsoever. Getting good at that. Although, I have to bring something else up here, and you know what? This is really just a way for me to just ease myself off the blinding rage I'm experiencing at the moment. You know, I've actually wanted to bring this up before, but I never did, because this is one of those things that is such a nitpicky topic. It has no place in an actual review because it's manga. You know, physics don't work the same in manga and in anime and in cartoons. All right, so I never brought this up, but just for the sake of, you know, maybe calming myself down, I'm gonna bring it up. And it involves Orihime. And I want to let you know, it's not because I'm perverted that I'm bringing this up. I just want to call attention to it, all right? So, with Orihime's new outfit, right, you see what it is. It's basically just like, it goes around her neck, and then you have like 2 straps that just like barely cover her boobs. Like, the sides are basically sticking out, her cleavage is exposed in all of its glory, and she's clearly not wearing a bra. And then so, my point is, you have her running all over the place, and in this one particular scene, she's running up, like, 3,000 steps of the Varvelt. Like, no support at all. I mean, I think she's crying for another reason. God, that must be painful. And yeah, like I said, I know it's a nitpick, you know, it's manga, it's fantasy, the boob physics have their own little set of rules and everything, but if you have big boobs and you don't wear a bra and try running up, you know, an entire flight of stairs, I'm assuming you're not going to come out of that without some pain, all right? Just throwing that out there. Anyway, they're running through a hallway which apparently has a bunch of statues. They don't seem to be concerned about the giant statues. Okay, pro tip, if you're invading the enemy's base and you encounter a room that has giant statues wielding weapons, yeah, you should maybe be a little bit wary at what's going to happen next. Come on, Ichigo. You grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s. You played video games. You know what should happen next. But anyway, yeah, while in the middle of their little heartfelt conversation, the statues come to life! Holy shit! They attempt to attack everybody. Ichigo grabs Orihime just as the attack was being hit, and then Chad blocks another one that was heading toward Ichigo and Orihime. In the process of this, the entire, I guess they were like in an enclosed bridge area that was supported by like a bunch of pillars underneath. That gets destroyed, so you have like it's like 2 paths, you know, like Ichigo and Orihime are on one side, and then there's the gap, and then Chad's on the other side, facing off against the statues. And he's like, oh, don't worry, guys, I got this. So he gives the thumbs up, you know, Chad is the epic masculine, you know, hero here. He's gonna beat some shit into these statues. And so Ichigo realizes, okay, well, there's nothing we can do. Chad's got this. So they begin walking down the hallway, Ichigo and Orihime. And then you cut over to the last scene of the chapter where you see Chad there staring down the statues. Now then, who wants to play with me first? I don't know. Maybe I'm just gonna start talking like Chad is the Terminator. You know, it's just like, Brazo izquierdo del diablo. La vista, baby. You know, but no, you know, so, you know, Chad's finally getting a fight. That's good, considering, when was the last time Chad had a legitimate fight? I don't know. Okay, I don't count Ichigo versus himself when it was in the Fullbringer arc. That doesn't really count. His scuffle with Tsukishima didn't really count. I'm even on the cusp of saying his fight with Yami, because that was mostly off screen. So I guess Gantenbein, yeah, that was his last fight. Gantenbein, what was that, 8, 9 years ago? Fucking great, right? Although I want to say, I kind of knew this was going to happen. I was kind of afraid it was going to happen anyway, where Kubo was running out of enemies. You know, he was running out of people to fight against the good guys because there's like a limited number of Quincy's. You know, you have Askin, who's in the middle of a fight. You have Gerald, who's in the middle of the fight. The Soldat aren't really that much of a threat. You know, they're basically just like fodder soldiers. And none of the other Quinn, like Hashwell's fighting. So what are you going to do? Well, let's just create some random enemies that we didn't even know existed before. Oh, by the way, Yhwach has the ability to summon statues now. Now, some of the people or bring life into statues. Now, some people have actually said that it might be possible, this might be an extension of like Shutara's power. Remember, Shutara had her little BDSM squad, which were basically like soldiers that obeyed her every word. And maybe they're working for Yhwach now because Yhwach is technically the new Soul King, and they turned from black to white to represent their new leader. Something like that. This is also a lot of comparison. There was a biblical reference to this, where there was, I forget what they were, Niflheim or something. They started with an N, and then these race of giants created by the gods. So maybe that has something to do with it. But anyway, yeah, giant statues, they don't seem to be irrelevant in any way. They just seem to be like a bunch of like guardians like on autopilot, you know, defend Varvelt, you know, crush intruder. I was thinking they might turn out to be like, oh, these are the past Sternritters turned to stone or something like that, but no, I think they're just going to turn out to be just random, you know, enemies to get into the good guy's way. Anyway, Chad's about to take him on all manly style when all of a sudden out pops Ganju using his Seppa technique. He bursts through the floor. We get this awesome scene on the side here of Chad freaking out. He has his eye bulging. He's like, oh, what the hell? So, yeah, Ganju apparently got separated from the group, and he was just kind of looking around for them, and it just ended up in the same location. I was actually going to mention something about Ganju in the last video, I just forgot, and I was actually hoping that Ganju was, because he was on his own, he would run into Hanataro, who was also on his own, and then we could have, like, the Ganju-Hanataro dynamic again, because I like that. Those two work well together, you know. Ganju being, you know, the meathead, he's like, let's go do this. And then, you know, Hanataro's this sheepish little kid, like, I don't really know Ganju, sir, but, you know, they work good off each other. They're good friends. So that'd be cool if they fought an enemy together or something like that. But here we don't. We have Ganju breaking out, and actually, honestly, his ability works great for fighting against giant stone statues. I wonder if that's why Kubo decided the enemy to be giant stone statues. But, yeah, his Seppa technique is, I guess, a derivative of Kido. It was never exactly explained, but he has this type of earth magic where he can, you know, summon the Shiba symbol, and then he imprints it on something, and then whatever it is turns into sand. We've never seen him use it on something like organic. It's always been like, you know, an inorganic material that turns into sand. So, that, like I said, this is like the perfect enemy for him to fight. These big, you know, looks like these giant statues are just big mounds of physical strength, and then we have Chad and Ganju who are really good at dealing with that kind of situation. So, you know, whatever. You know, and then Chad just starts talking about how it's like, oh, well, our task is nice and simple, Ganju. All we got to do is clean out the castle top to bottom and prepare the way for them back. And with that being said, we have the last scene of the chapter. Chad is activating his devil left arm, and Ganju's behind him ready to fight. So, they're the cleanup crew. I would not expect a major fight here. In fact, I would not even, unless Kubo wants to do something unique with the statues, like they're actually going to have some relevance, they're probably going to cut away from this fight, and then in like 30 or 40 chapters, when the fight's over and they're ready to leave the Varvelt, we're just going to see, you know, Chad and Ganju standing over a bunch of rubble being like, huh, oh man, those things just kept coming, huh? It's like, yeah, well, we won. Congratulations. But maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe they're going to be very relevant. Maybe these things are going to have some importance into the plot. I doubt it. I hope Chad gets a serious fight. I mean, in terms of Chad's, like, power level, would you say it would be fair to say, in terms of just, like, physical power, he's on the level of a captain? Not saying he would defeat a captain. I'm just saying that, you know, in terms of just, we're not taking into account, like, special abilities or intelligence. We're just talking about, like, physical power alone. He's on the level of a captain. I would like to think he's at least at that level. You know, because he trained the 17 months. He met execution. He trained with them. He trained to fight Tsukishima. He trained in Hueco Mundo for this fight. He should be at least at that level at that point. But yeah, I guess that's the end of the chapter. So leave your comment below on what do you think about the statues, you know, if they hold any importance, or if they're just like foot soldiers there just to, you know, oh, well, you know, these people need fights, so there you go. And what about Yhwach? You know, is it going to be really that easy just to, like, walk in while Yhwach's asleep and just, like, cut his head off and there, crisis averted? Because, Hashwalt was pretty sure, like, even after they said, you know, what they were going to do, oh, don't worry, you know, they'll die. You know, there's a contingency for that. So I don't think, yeah, like it's that easy. You know, just to kill Yhwach while he's asleep and everything's copacetic. I think there's a contingency plan in case someone would attempt that. Yeah, so that's it. Comment below what you think, and what do you think about Kubo fucking just railroading Uryu's character. I mean, I can't really see any way you could debunk that. I mean, just the fact that it took Uryu till now to realize, oh, wait, Yhwach's vulnerable when he's asleep. You know, I just... Whatever. I'm not going into it again. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Signing out.